Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we are out here on a Sunday morning on Paseo Montejo here in Mérida, Yucatan. And we are going to be talking about, well, how Mexico is not that different from the USA. In fact, it's just a lot better. And I figured, you know what a perfect time for me to talk about this by doing this on a Sunday. When we have La BiciRuta. And what is La BiciRuta? Well, long story short, they close off a bunch of the city. Everybody gets on their bike. I got my bike ready. You see other people there with their bikes. And basically, as you guys can see all the way in the background, there's people on their bikes, on their inline skating or whatever it is. And we're here starting at El Monumento de la Patria. All right. And so this is the beginning of of La BiciRuta, or the end of the BiciRuta. Either way, we're going to start off here today, and we're going to make our way all the way through El Centro, all right, as we talk about, well, why Mexico is so much better than the USA these days. In fact, like I said, it's not too much different, just better. So, we're going to be talking about that today, and, we're going to just jump on the bike, and we're going to be taking the whole BiciRuta all the way down Paseo Montejo through El Centro. And so you guys can see exactly what it looks like out here on a Sunday afternoon. So without further ado, let's hop on the bike. It's already nice and hot and steamy out here. And, we got a lot to bike today. So let's head out of here. All right, so let's head out of here. We got a lot to show you guys today. So as you guys can see, everybody is out. All the kids are out, all the families are out. And again, this is the end of La BiciRuta right over here, or the beginning, depending on how you're looking at it. We're all the way at, again, as you guys can see here, all right, El Monumento de la Patria. And we're going to make our way all the way down through El Centro. Now, as you guys know, throughout the years that I've been living out here, you guys have seen me, come up and down Paseo Montejo countless times. You guys have seen me ride my bike. You guys have even seen me come out on the BiciRuta in the past, and so on and so forth. But today I decided to make my way through here. I guess there's some event going on over there. So, all right, let's make our way out of here. A lot of a lot of music, a lot of noise out in this region here. All right. So as you guys can see, we are right on Paseo Montejo. Usually, they never close the street off. They only close the street off every single Sunday. And so on one side of the street, as you guys can see, they close it off, for pedestrians, for bike riding. All the way on the left side, they have all kinds of art, people selling art and selling all kinds of stuff. Again, I've done videos on that in the past. I'll link all that at the end of this one so you guys can watch it. So there's going to be sections where there's going to be a little bit more to see than others. So just, again, bear with me. So on the right side, they have traffic open so that, again, all the cars can still get through without a problem. And on the left side of Paseo Montejo, it's just closed off to bike traffic. Now, when I first moved out here 7+ years ago, they used to close off both sides of Paseo Montejo. And they also used to do this at night. They used to also do the BiciRuta at nighttime. Now, they only do the BiciRuta at nighttime about once a month, give or take. So one Saturday out of every month, they go on ahead and they do La BiciRuta. But anyway, so you guys can come out here when you're on vacation, or even if you're living out here, and you guys can go on ahead and even rent a bike. They got all kinds of people renting bikes, all over the place. You can just go on ahead and rent a bike. I think to rent a bike, I'm not quite sure. Let's see, look right here. Here, I'll give you a quick example. That person's renting bikes. As you guys can see, all the bikes that are parked there. And I think you just leave your license, and I think it's like a couple bucks, and you can rent a bicycle. So, all right, let's head back. So, in certain areas, like in this area here, we got Walmart all the way to my left here, and this is a major busy intersection. There's still traffic. There's still people, moving on about. So they have all kinds of, individuals, volunteers. Some people work for the city, whatever, and they go on ahead and they close off, the streets, and they manage the traffic. Now, granted, right now it's like around 11:30. I think they close all this around 12 or 12:30. The BiciRuta starts somewhere around, I think 8 in the morning, give or take. 8:30 in the morning, all the way up until 12:30 in the afternoon. But again, this is, just Paseo Montejo. Again, I've shown you guys countless times, what it looks like out here. Again, if you guys can see all the way on your left, you see all the people that are selling artwork, selling all kinds of wares. Again, the Corredor Internacional de Arte. I've done videos on this before. I've interviewed, a few friends. You guys can, watch me walk down that corridor. And like I said, I interviewed my really good friend Katie not that long ago. I'll link that video at the end of this one as well. This is something also you guys can do, just like we were talking about last Sunday about working and, figuring out what to do out here. Again, that's something that you can do if you're an artist, and so on and so forth. So again, these are the things that, just make life out here so much better. Every single Sunday, they go on ahead and they close off major streets in all major cities. So all major cities across Mexico have a very similar BiciRuta. And so they go on ahead and they close off the majority of the streets, that go through the city, so that people can just ride their bikes at their leisure, just like we're doing right now. They can ride their bikes with their family. They can walk around. They can enjoy a lot of family fun activities. There's all kinds of vendors. It's not just people selling art or whatever. There's people selling all kinds of things. There's people selling ice cream and people selling, just like a million things, snacks and even experiences or whatever. I don't know, just like the touristy stuff. And so here you go. We got like a bunch of kids there. We're all waiting, I guess, on the light. Is it good? We're good to go? All right. So now we're going to keep going. Yeah. I guess that guy's still learning how to ride a bike.
Bruh.
But as you guys can see, we got the opposite traffic. We got the double-decker bikes. You got regular bikes. Again, I have my own bike. I'm here going at a super slow pace, just to make sure I don't go faster than everybody else, because you guys know my bike goes a lot faster. It goes about the speed of a motorcycle almost. So I gotta, trying to keep it super slow here so you guys can see what's going on. But again, guys, this is nothing new here. You guys have seen me take, this path many a times, usually, with traffic and there's people out and about and, on a regular day out here. But anyways, today's episode is just really just to, piggyback off of the things that I've been saying recently as to how, Mexico is not a third world country. Again, Mexico has every single thing that you want from back home or you miss from back home. Again, we got everything from the Walmart to the Costco's to the Home Depots to the Wendy's and the Burger King and the McDonald's. You got all that. And then you also have all of this. All of this right here, this is something that's very rare to find in US City these days, where they go on ahead and not only do they close off and they make everything like extremely family friendly, but it's free. Everything here is free. That's another thing that I talk about a lot as to, it doesn't matter what your income level is. It doesn't matter what the family's income level is. They can come out here and they can bring their own bikes. Everybody throws a bike in the back of the truck and then they just unload here and they're riding for free, spending the whole day with the family here for free. Another thing they can do is they can come out here and rent bikes, for just a few bucks. Again, it doesn't matter how poor you are, you can afford to rent the bike. You can just walk if you want. That's another option, and so on and so forth. So, but again, it's not just like La BiciRuta that happens all the time out here, but they also have other things such as, again, the zoos are open and free for everybody. They got so many other, all the parks are free and open for everybody. There's just so much always, going on for free. And that's like a major component to, just making sure that, everyone is happy out here. Again, not everything is perfect out here, but it really just depends on who you are and what you're, thank you, hello. And it really depends on who you are. Hello. Anyways, all right. So we're gonna keep going through here. It seems like the BiciRuta goes through here. All right, again, you see all kinds of events, all kinds of things going on. You see me, start the show, out here many times, that one time that I took the bike all the way up north through traffic. So again, we're just gonna follow all the arrows. Hola, buenos días. we're just gonna follow all the arrows, all right? That's what we're gonna do. So you guys can see exactly what it's like, all right? And you got nothing really to worry about. Again, you can just come out here on your regular bike and they'll guide you. They'll stop traffic for you and all that good stuff, as you guys can see, So, I'm good to go. Hola, buenos días. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. All right. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. And so like, I am guessing that if I would have come out here a lot earlier today, there would have been a lot more people out and a lot more action. Like I said, right now, we're towards the end of La BiciRuta. They're closing up within an hour, give or take. And it's already very hot and humid as opposed to earlier in the day. Again, this opens up like around 8:30 in the morning. So we just passed by Café Riqueza. Hola, buenos días. Just so you can see where we're at, okay? So we're gonna keep going that way. We're just following all the arrows. But as you guys can see, we're here, Café Riqueza, where I go all the time. Parque Santa Ana is just down the block and so on and so forth. So, but you see, look how quiet and chill everything is. And it's just, again, only open and available for bike traffic and foot traffic. And so, as you guys, we're heading towards El Centro. I think the BiciRuta ends in Parque San Juan. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out. We'll see it together. We're just taking the ride together. I don't even remember the last time I was on La BiciRuta out here, because I think the last time I came out here on La BiciRuta and I was riding my bike out here was when my sister came out here with the kids. And so, obviously this is something that we all did. We all just went, I had my own bike. I think Christian had her own, she had her own bike too, but then the kids rented a bike, my sister, her husband, everybody else, the family rented bikes. And that's it, we just rode around. All right, so let's, they're waving us through. Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. See, oh yeah, the traffic is packed on the other streets. A lot of car traffic on the side streets. And normally this would be very busy, with cars. This is Calle 60. But anyways, so like I said, this is nothing, unique to Mérida. This happens all over, okay? All over Mexico. All major cities have something very similar, whether you're in Guadalajara, Mexico City, muchas gracias. Mexico City, Monterrey, wherever you're at, they have something like this. In fact, let us know if you are already out here in Mexico, if they have a BiciRuta in your city or not, and what other events they have in your city. Now, as you guys can see, the closer we get to El Centro, the more traffic there is, foot traffic, human traffic, bike traffic, whatever traffic. And because again, this is, we're heading towards the center of the city, and not just the center of the city, but again, the touristy center. We're here, La Plaza Grande, Gran Plaza. But anyways, La Plaza Grande is basically the main center, AKA downtown. We recently did a tour of the area. I don't know if you guys remember that. When we were talking about the celebrations of Mexican Independence Day. We went on ahead and we did a little tour of the area. We walked around the whole Centro. And so again, right now we're just biking around El Centro, but through the BiciRuta area. And so, right around me, there's all kinds of restaurants, all kinds of, people and vendors, selling all kinds of things, as you guys can see. There's more vendors and more people out on the weekends, for obvious reasons, because that's when all the tourists are here, whether it's local tourists or Mexican tourists or you guys, buenos dias, and so on and so forth. So, and like I said, you guys have seen me come through here many, many times. But the reason I'm out here on my bike today is to just show you, to show you the uniqueness of what a Sunday afternoon is. The last couple Sundays, I was showing you, what the rest of the city looks like on a Sunday, and it's very quiet, a little traffic, little going on. But out here, again, we're in the touristy center, the touristy area, and they're always having events here. So again, we're here at the Catedral, as you guys can see to your left, and we're here, right here is the center, okay? We were just walking around here not too long ago, but on Sundays, you look at all those tents that they have set up there, as you guys can see. You know what I mean? They have all kinds of vendors and all kinds of people selling stuff. And you guys have seen me tour that, multiple times in the past. Again, we got the cathedral open because it's Sunday and church day. Well, I think that's closed now because I can hear the service. All right, you see the church lady out there selling stuff as well. But yeah, right now, the church service is going on. I can hear the church and they closed it off. I think it's open on this side. Let me see. But look, you guys can see the vendors there and you guys can see that they have the stands because again, at nighttime, they have events out here. They got people dancing. They got people doing cultural things. They got people doing all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's very, very nice. So again, this is just a typical normal Sunday out here. And I haven't been out here, like I said, in a while, but it does seem like they've changed a lot here. All right, wow, okay, so yeah, these things, even the food stalls used to be in a different area. So like they put the food stalls out here now. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to get through here with the bike because it says to go and make a right. All right, hold on a second, so you got the food vendors there. Look at this guy making food. Yummy, yummy. All right, let me see. Where do I go? I think they closed it off, right? Or do I gotta go through here? Oh, whatever. We'll go through here. You got the birds. You got everybody out here. So yes, apparently you gotta go through your bike through here. So I'm on my bike right now, guys. FYI. But yeah, there's a lot of people out here. So again, if you're out here visiting, you're out here doing the touristy thing, you definitely gotta come out here on a Sunday. Look at all these vendors selling all kinds of yummy food, local yummy food. All the other vendors, selling all kinds of things inside the park, and so on and so forth. So, all right, let's see. Let's see what waits for us at the other end. So as you guys can see how different things are out here, on a Sunday. Again, I was here not that long ago, and there wasn't that many people out here. But look at this guy. This guy's selling. This guy's just singing. All right, let's go through here. All right. Oh, look, there's another one of the cultural events. Here, let's check that out real quick.
No te preocupes, vengo preparado para la competencia. Yo creo que nos vamos a ir más clásicos. Mejor vamos a utilizar la ayuda de la varita mágica.
Oh, look, they got a magician.
Te la voy a prestar tantito. Muy importante que el pase mágico sea con mi varita porque si no, no funciona. ¿La trajiste en tu casa, Alejandro? Tiene que ser con la mía, te la tengo para que esta función. ¿Qué estás haciendo, Alejandro, hombre? Ah, muy bien, aquí detente tantito.
All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Very, very nice. All right, so the BiciRuta goes through here. Yeah, I guess they didn't plan out this area here. I guess maybe you got to go through the bike through this area. I guess I went through the wrong area. I guess I had to go through this area. When I had to go with the bike. Whatever, don't matter. All good. All right, let's just keep going. All right, so as you guys can see, the BiciRuta continues this way. So let's just keep going. But yeah, that's the thing. And so like within about 30 minutes to an hour, I don't know what time it is right now. Let me see. All right, so about 30 minutes from now, give or take, they're gonna go on ahead and close off, all the streets, to bike traffic, and they're gonna open it up again to regular traffic. All right. And again, you see me walk through here many, many times. All right, nothing new here. Just the same old thing. Just the same old. Again, you see like all the regular traffic in the city. And again, within about half an hour or so, they're going to start taking all this stuff away, and they're going to open up the whole city back up to traffic. So, just waiting here patiently, for the light to turn so that we can continue on our path here. All right, green light. Muchas gracias. Look at this, very nice. So obviously, the deeper we go into Centro, the quieter it gets. All the action is happening in the center of the city, but it seems like there's a lot of action going on over there. I don't think I ever went this far in La BiciRuta before. I usually always just, in fact, most people just kind of stay in the center area, in el Centro, or in Paseo Montejo. but they don't go this deep down south. But we're gonna go this down south again. We're doing the whole BiciRuta here today, so you guys can see, you know, what it all looks like. Look at that. All right, awesome. Muchas gracias. ¿Eh? Sí, sí, va rápido. Es una bici eléctrica. Sí, sí, gracias. Ahí ya se acaba aquí, ¿verdad? Aquí ya se acaba la BiciRuta. Yeah, okay, okay. And muchas gracias. So I was just asking him, you know, how much further we got on the BiciRuta, and he told us, yeah, we're almost at the end there. So that's awesome. You know, maybe we'll make our way back and we'll explore a little bit of the center. All right, but let's just finish the BiciRuta first, and let's see where we end up, and we'll go from there. So, all right, we got the green light, so time to go. Awesome, awesome. And yeah, it's very different to see this from the bike perspective and during the BiciRuta perspective, because, you know, I come out through these regions all the time. In fact, I've seen, you know, I've shown you guys multiple times. Okay, so look, this is where it ends here. So, all right, but let's just go into the park real quick, because it ends here at this park. But you guys know, you guys see me come to this park all the time. You know, I've been out here with Tree before, you know, in order to, all right, hold on a second. Let's go in. We got all the birds here. I don't want to run over the birds. But anyways, but you guys have seen me. Here, let's just go around the park. Can I go around the park? Oh no, I gotta. Look at all these ladies here. All right, I can't. All right, this is a one-way street. See, look at everybody dressed in their garb. You know, because they probably got some event. They're probably gonna go dance. They're probably gonna do some church thing. Probably gonna do some family thing. So they're all dressed up in their typical Yucatecan clothes. All right, here, let's just go through here. Excuse me, birdies. Excuse me, thank you. All right, so as you guys can see here, the park. So this is basically where it ends or where it begins. So again, you can start the whole ride all the way up north or somewhere else. All right, look at this. Hey. ¿Qué?
Está prohibido.
¿Por qué está prohibido?
Está prohibido porque esto es para peatonales.
Oh, no puedo. Ah, ok, ahí no sabía. Ah, ok. Disculpa. All right, so yeah, the cops, you know, look, so you guys can see how different the cops are out here. The guy was like, hey, what are you doing? This is a pedestrian-only park. You should not be on your bike. You should not be on your, you know, whether it's an electric bike or a bike or anything like that while people are walking around the park. So please, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I had no idea. I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. You know, just be careful out there. You know, we don't want you to get hurt or for anyone else to get hurt. So awesome. All right, cool. Whatever. No big deal. I was just trying to make my way around the park. I was just, you know, trying to cut through. All good. Anyways, but as you guys can see, I mean, look, that's another thing why I love it out here so much. You know, even the police. Again, normally they don't even say anything. You know, normally they would not even say a damn thing. You know, they would just let me do my thing. But I think it's just because today, because of BiciRuta, there's so many people doing their thing on their bike, and they're just trying to, you know, they don't know if I'm a tourist, they don't know what I'm doing, but they're just trying to, again, they're public safety. You know, they're here for public safety. They're not here to, you know, to scold me. So again, we're here at the end, all right? So I was just trying to make my way around so we would pop out through that street, but hey, it's all good. No biggie. Let's make our way back to the center. But again, just another beautiful thing about the authority out here, the police out here, that is just very different. You know, out here it's just they're really just public safety, and that's it. It's like, hey, be careful. You know, don't cause any accidents. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, but nothing too crazy. So, got a lot of music out here playing. But yeah, like the difference is immense. You know, you can't even compare. You know, how, you know, authority is out here and how they treat people out here as opposed to, you know, back home. See, here we got another authority figure here. He's just having his ice cream, doing his thing. You know, nothing really. Time to go, all right? So, look at this. So they allowed the bus to get through because that's the bus that takes you to the beach. That's the Auto Progreso, all right? So again, this is the area, you know, where you would get the bus. All right, Auto Progreso right over here. All right. You guys have seen me mention it multiple times before. But yeah, like I said, you know, there's just so much to life out here that makes it so much better than back home. And I know I wasn't really telling you guys much about it. I was just showing you more than anything else as we were just riding around and giving you a quick tour of the area. But, you know, that's the thing. You know, the reality is that, you know, it's all those little things. You know, back home, all right, it's really, really hot and humid out here today. All right, so my camera shut off, you know, basically as I was making my way back to Centro. And again, we're just like a block away. So what I'm gonna actually do, again, we got the bike over here. I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna park my bike somewhere and we're gonna walk around a little bit just for a few minutes so you guys can see exactly, you know, what the vendors are up to and what they're doing in Centro, you know, right now as this all goes on. Because even though the BiciRuta is about to end within a few minutes, about 30 minutes or so, the events going on in Centro and other things that are going on throughout the city, you know, they're just starting to get going. So again, everything just happens in steps out here, or you know, or what have you. So they'll have like the BiciRuta, then they'll have events in Centro, then they'll have events later at night, and so on and so forth. So all right, without further ado, let me go on ahead and find me some parking out there, and then we'll walk around and I'll show you around the area. Okay, so we're back here in Plaza Grande, all right, and as you guys can see, I just I tied my bike up there to the first pole I could see. I really couldn't find anywhere else to park the bike. So let's just go on ahead and take a walk real quick. We already went and saw that section with the bike. So let's just go up here so you guys can see some of the vendors. This is one of the guys that's usually here. But again, on Sunday, I guess he takes a day off. That's the guy that does shoe shines. So for anyone that's interested in shoe shines. But as you guys can see, there's all kinds of vendors. Let's just start through here and make our way through and see what kind of stuff they got out here. So they got all kinds of artisanal things. They got all kinds of beautiful. Look at this. Look at all the awesome things. We got everybody here watching the show. Remember the magic show? So it seems like they got a clown up there now, but everybody's here sitting around just watching the show. Look at that. Got a nice clown for the kids, for everybody. Let's see. Little ice creams. The shoe shine guy. They got the Merida sign right here. So again, like this guy, the person selling the ice cream, and a lot of vendors, you know, that have been, you know, up and down, you know, Paseo Montejo and throughout this whole adventure today, you know, a lot of them don't even need any kind of, permits or to get any kind of special paperwork, you know, to come out here and do their thing. Again, a lot of people can just simply, just sell their stuff. If they're going to want to, you know, come out here on a regular basis, you know, set up a tent and do a bunch of other things, well then, you know, they have no other choice but to, get a license or get some sort of permit in order to do what they, you know, need to do. So let's just go through here. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of noise. Sometimes I don't know until I'm editing the video if the noise is louder than my voice. Usually my voice is always louder, but still, we got a lot of noise, a lot of music. You know, they got the clown over there. You got music coming from every angle. We got people talking, all kinds of awesome things. But anyways, all right, let's just come through here. So again, we got the vendors over here. Again, you know, a lot of clothes, you know, a lot of artisanal stuff. You know, over here, again, you got like, organic oils and soaps and all kinds of things. You know, all kinds of awesome things. And again, there's vendors on the other side as well. There's vendors on this side. They got ice cream over there. You know, you got all kinds of cool things. So let's just go through here. All right, and see what they got here. But yeah, that's the thing. You know, again, just going back to like how things are just so much better out here. You know, you can come out here and just walk around, you know, with your friends, your family. You know, you can go to the mall, you know, obviously air conditioned. A lot of people like to do a lot of things like this, even though it's nice and hot outside, but it's an outside event. You know, you can have the kids running around. You know, you got good food. you know, all kinds of awesome things. So again, you know, you're gonna see things that are being sold out here, you know, like touristy things, other things not so touristy. See, look, these people right here, you know, they're vendors, you know, they don't have any kind of license or anything. You know, Christian comes out here many times or to El Centro to buy some of these things because, well, she wears some of these things. You got music playing, you got all kinds of awesome things going on out here. So again, guys, you know, I'm just giving you guys a super quick tour here. I'm not going to go stall to stall to stall. You know, you guys can just kind of figure it out. But again, you know, we started an episode here not that long ago. We were here at the cathedral, remember? Remember how all this here, you know, was all decked out, you know, to celebrate Mexican Independence Day. Obviously, the decorations are gone and so on and so forth, all right? So let's just keep walking. So again, you know, all the little corridors are filled with people. You know, there's that guy over there singing music, you know, for, you know, he's just, again, no permit, no nothing. He's just out there singing, you know, doing his thing, you know, for donations or what have you. There it is. Very nice, very nice. Very, very, very nice. So again, guys, you know what I mean? I'm just, a lot of times I don't have many words, even though I'm always talking. I always got a million things to say. A lot of times I just don't even have any words because, you know, I would much rather just have you see what's on the camera and have you see it for yourself and experience it for yourself. I know a lot of you guys, you know, will look at things like this and then, you know, this will inspire you to come out here or at least show you the ropes so when you're out here, you know what to do, where to go. And for others, well, I know some of you guys will probably never make it out here for whatever reason. And you guys kind of like live vicariously through me. So this is why I give you these tours so you guys can, you know, again, still don't, you know, so you don't have to miss out on the experience. And you can also, again, you know, share in the happiness and share in the awesomeness that is living out here along with everybody else. So again, we got a lot of shoe shiners, you know, so I guess there's that one guy just took the day off. But everybody else is still, you know, kind of working. It is Sunday after all. You know, we're very busy out here. We got ice cream. We got all kinds of awesome things. So it seems like that ice cream vendor over there is very popular. A lot of people getting ice cream from them. And again, as you guys can see, they're starting to clean up the bicycle stuff and they're starting to now put out, you know, all the other stuff. So you know what? Let's walk through the food section because I know a lot of you guys love food. You know, I totally understand. I love food myself. But we just came out here through the bike. So we took this path with the bike. So let's just go in through here. All right, and take the walking path. See, we got all kinds of desserts here. Hold on. And again, all kinds of vendors, all kinds of food, selling all kinds of things. You know, they're selling, you know, a lot of the typical food that's from the region. A lot of people selling food from other parts of Mexico, simply because, again, as the years have gone on, we've seen a lot of migration to the area, a lot of Mexicans that have moved out here, you know, from all parts of Mexico. And well, they bring their food, they bring their customs, they bring their everything. And so, you know, well, you know, the people living out here, see, look, a lot of this stuff, you know, this stuff right here, some of it isn't even from here. But that's the thing, you know, as the city keeps growing and more Mexicans are showing up here from other parts of Mexico, well, now we have access to different types of food and different types of stuff, you know, that we normally wouldn't have. And see, I guess this was a bike path here. We got this guy here doing this thing. So it's very, very nice. So, you know, like I said, I haven't been out here in a few years. They've changed a lot of things throughout the years, you know, for obvious reasons. You know, there's been a lot going on in the world. And, you know, we've even had like a new mayor, a new political system, political party coming to power, and they changed a lot. And it seems like, you know, we've kind of gone back to how it was when I first moved out here. Because when I first moved out here, this is how it was. And then they changed a lot of stuff, you know, during the last 5 years of the, you know, the virus situation. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like everything is back and in fact, better than ever. You know, this is like 1,000,000 times better than what it was when we first started. And again, look, these are just bikes that you can also rent, and you can rent these any day of the week, not just Sunday. And that's about it, guys. So very, very nice. So, all right, guys. I think it's time to wrap it up, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed today's video as we were, going on around and, we biked around the whole BiciRuta. I got to show you parts of the city that you normally don't get to see on a Sunday. I was able to go on ahead and, talk a little bit about why I love it out here so much and what makes it awesome out here. And I got to show you, again, what things look like out here on a typical Sunday. Not just here, but, many cities, many Mexican cities offer up similar things on Sundays. And like I was saying, depending on the city, will depend on the events and depending on the whatever, what they have available for the citizens, for the tourists, for everyone that is around. And out here is no different. Out here, you got to remember, Mérida, Yucatan, this whole area is very tourist heavy. So obviously there's a lot more emphasis on, catering to tourists and catering to visitors, as opposed to other cities in Mexico, which again, a lot of this stuff is just for the locals and mainly for the locals more than anything else. So anyways, guys, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up because I'm already running on fumes. It's really hot, really humid, and I don't know how much longer I got on the camera's battery. So look at that. What a beautiful, beautiful sight to see that huge flag. I wish it was a little windier though. That's something I do wish because it is hot out here. So, all right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. So you already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon, but more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.